Thanks everyone, this is Henry from the NYT channel, and today I stumbled upon this. I survived 100 days in Jurassic Park on Minecraft. Here's what happened by this handsome man, Forrest Bono. I mean, he does some epic 100 days. Yes, though you see this red barcode from left to right, there's one thing about me. I don't know if it's good or bad. That's your guys' decision to choose. It's just that I have a different reaction every time I watch it. Yeah, so let's pray and get right into the video. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Lord, please help this video give honor and praise to you. Lord, please forgive us for thank you for hearing and answering our prayer. Amen. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
In today's video, we have to survive for 100 days in Jurassic Park. We have 3 objectives. First, craft full adamantine armor.
Adamantine? That sounds like
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That sounds like
and our
adamantine.
last objective, defeat the mad scientists who genetically resurrected and cloned the dinosaurs, unleashing them into the world.
This guy is big brain, if he even does that.
Copy, I'm Popeye. Traffic 1 mile, 12 o'clock. Copy. Visual that traffic. You on top.
Alright, cadets. This is a top secret mission. We're dispatching both of you to Black Site 747.
Black Site 747.
Sergeant Ace and Lieutenant Rasher went missing in action 3 months ago. Your missions are to rescue Ace and Rasher and investigate the rumors of the raging scientist. Best of luck, cadets. Godspeed.
That's his name, Godspeed?
Wow, it's a beautiful day outside.
Okay,
The
painful.
sun is out, the sky is blue. You can't ask for anything better than this. 10-4, looks like we're gonna have clear skies for the rest of the day.
I'm guessing that's
Now approaching the target
Forrest
destination.
Bono?
Over.
I'm not sure. It doesn't have the thingy.
Whoa, what's going on? Mayday, mayday, we're going down.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye goes the airplane. I like how there's
What?
I like how there's just no airplane parts.
I'm alive?
Wait, that's where the plane
Painful
starts?
to your read, over. No response.
I
guess we gotta take it from here.
I like how there's
So
just
our
no
journey began.
helicopter parts where the
I started
helicopter
immediately on gathering
crashed.
material necessary to get ourselves to
Well, how did
losing
Painful lose
communication
when
with
that's
Painful
where
was
the
not gonna make things
the
any
helicopter
easier.
crashed?
After getting ourselves stone
Surprise.
tools and some food, I stumbled upon what looked to be a tent. There was a villager that traded fossils. We didn't have any emeralds, so we continued and got the wool from the tent and stole the bed. After leaving the tent, I ran into what looked like some prehistoric alligators. Luckily, they didn't notice me. When I looked down from on top of the hill, I noticed my first dinosaurs. I went down the hill and decided to go through the plans. There were some moose, and lucky for me, all these dinosaurs were neutral. I passed by some elephants and some triceratops. I then gathered up some wood and picked some berries. I then spotted what looked to be like another tent. And it was. This time there was a chest with an iron pickaxe. We went into a nearby cave and started mining some coal. Walked up both sides of the tent, got ourselves some torches, and then went to bed.
He just joined that dude's tent and is like, okay, this is my tent now, I'm sleeping here.
Nearly fell into a ravine. Thank goodness I wasn't standing on that block. And on day 5 we went back to the surface and started looking for a
This is
suitable spot
hardcore,
to set
so
up a
that means
base.
if he
We had to
dies
travel
once, he does for
extremely
good.
carefully as there was dinosaurs everywhere. After about 3 days of travel, we made it to a jungle biome. I noticed some bird-like dinosaurs, so I carefully approached the jungle biome. I wasn't sure if they were going to attack me, so I decided to lay low. I quickly ran on top of a tree, but it looked like the dinosaurs weren't going to attack. I then decided I may as well make a tree house. So I went to sleep and began building the tree house. The tree house should keep me pretty safe as I was high up from the ground, so no dinosaurs could sneak up on me while I was sleeping. On day 10, we decided to go mining, got ourselves some iron, got a full set of iron armor, and found our first diamonds in a crystal cave. There was also lots of gold and redstone. While returning to the surface, we ended up running into an alligator guard, which surprisingly wasn't difficult to kill. On day 12, I returned back to base and deposited all my materials. On day 13, I spotted what looked to be like an ocelot, so I crafted a fishing rod and fished up a couple fish. And after luring it over with a fish, I now have my very own pet cat. I think I'm gonna give this guy the name Tim Bob. So I set Tim Bob up in the treehouse, and for the next 2 days I began working on expanding the treehouse, creating myself some farms, and from days 16 to 17 we walled off our base to protect us from hostile creatures. After completing the build, I looked over everything, and the base is really starting to come along well. On day 18 we crafted ourselves a diamond pick, and went back down into the caves to find ourselves a lava pool. We mined enough obsidian to make another portal back at our base, and on day 19 we decided to go into the nether. I set up a pillar next to my portal, and began my journey looking for another fortress.
Jeez.
I grabbed some glowstone along the way, and after 4 long days
I
of
think
searching,
those are
I
souls.
finally found
Yes,
myself
guys, I
a
know
nether
I'm the Grim
fortress.
Reaper.
So I
I officially have the title of the Grim Reaper with a
got
halo.
attacked by a nether wolf. It hit me off, and I took a ton of fall damage. If it weren't for the shield, I probably would have died. That was a
Yes,
close
and you would have
call.
collected
Nether
your
wolves
soul.
also dropped a blaze
Because
powder,
anything
which
in the
pretty nice.
nether is
I finally
probably
made my way into
demonic.
the fortress,
And
took out another
demonic
nether wolf.
things
The
have
first
your
hallway I
soul.
walked down had
Yes,
a
I
blaze
know.
spawner at
I
the
am
end.
the
So
Grim
I started
Reaper.
farming as
Remember?
many blazes
I'm
as
the
I
Grim
could,
Reaper
but
for you
realized
too.
I was running low on food. I wanted to get at least half a dozen blaze rods before I was out of here,
Yeah,
though.
but doesn't.
So after killing a few more blazes, I explored a little bit of the fortress.
You have
and found
7
myself a
blaze
velociraptor
rods.
skull
I'm
and some
pretty
horse
sure.
armor. From days 24 to 25, we traveled back to our nether portal. When I came out the other side, I heard my cat taking damage. I was kind of confused at first, but I quickly ran up the stairs,
Fire?
climbed with the ladder
There's
as
a
fast as I
helicopter there.
could, and realized someone
There's a
was burning
helicopter.
down my base. He had a
It's a
lab coat
sci-
on. It must have been the mad
It's a
scientist. The
helicopter.
end I rolled up to would look to be a helicopter, and I placed down water to try and stop the fire. I tried pillaring up to him as quickly as I could,
No.
but I just wasn't fast
What
enough.
about the
He was
cat?
already
What
in his
about Tim
helicopter
Bob?
taking off.
No.
He could have just burnt down my base, but he killed
Not
my
Tim
cat
Bob.
Tim Bob.
No,
Now things were
not
personal.
Tim Bob,
I tried putting out
no.
as many fires as I could, nearly died
Tim
in the
Bob.
process. Even though the treehouse
He was
protected
a
me
nice
really well
fortress.
against dinosaurs,
He was a young
didn't do
lad.
such a good job against fire. After putting out the fire for the rest of the day, now that the mad scientist knew where I lived, I decided to relocate my base and left a sign for any survivors that might come across my base. From days 26 to 28, we
Rip
began
Tim
our search
Bob.
for a new base location. That was until I saw some sort of structure in the distance, and it ended up being a crashed plane. I was a little confused at first, but things started to add up. Sergeant Ace and Lieutenant Rasher went missing 3 months ago, and it was reported that their aircraft had to crash land. The mad scientist must have had a role in all of this. While all these thoughts were flooding my head, I ended up finding some iron blocks and adamantine blocks in the back of the aircraft.
Yeah,
After
man.
mining all the blocks, I went to the front of the aircraft to inspect it. Everything just looked overgrown, and there was no sign of life. I decided to leave the aircraft and continue my search for a suitable spot for my base.
bad.
After a few days of searching, I gave up and decided to be
29,
a cave junkie. With the adamantine I found, I crafted a chest plate, leggings, and a saber. And on day 33,
Oh,
I decided
that's how
I
you
should
craft
go
a
mining
saber.
for a while.
Oh, that's
I mined
what-
all
that's
kinds of
what it
ores
was. It's a
and found
saber.
myself an ice cave. I found some lava,
Not
turned
really
it
like a
into
lightsaber,
obsidian,
but
and mined
it's a
enough for
saber.
an enchantment table. I also found myself an archaeologist underground. He didn't really offer too many good trades, so I continued
he had
mining
one
and found
diamond
gold,
there.
and finally managed to find some diamonds. There was only 2 in this
And a
vein, but shortly
redstone.
after I found another 2 diamonds.
You can
Afterwards,
use
I mined some
redstone.
lapis and then headed back to base. I crafted up my enchantment table, and used the rest of my diamonds for a diamond helmet and boots. After enchanting all my armor and weapon, I spent the rest of day 39 to 40 gathering up wood, getting food from some animals, and gathering apples from tree leaves. After getting a couple apples, I started heading home. I ended up running into a prehistoric alligator and tried to fight it, and for some reason, this one was pretty easy to kill. It gave me a false sense of confidence, so I challenged another alligator, but this one knocked me into the water. You know what they say about
that one
fighting an
didn't give you a
alligator in
fight,
the
this
water.
one
I was
gave you a
doing the
fight.
best to block the hits with my shield, but every time I went for a hit, it just kept knocking me back out of range. So I pillared up and played it as carefully as I could, and ended up taking out the alligator. I ended up fighting one more on the way back, just to see if I could kill it, but I was taking way too much damage, and there was a ton of mobs
Why are you
around me,
doing
so
this?
I decided to make a run for it back to base.
Yeah, and
After
there's a
taking a
spider
good
there.
night's rest, I went out on day 41 to gather some sand for some glass. I wanted to prepare for taking out a Tyrannosaurus Rex, so I made some
Tyrannosaurus
glass
Rex?
bottles
Oh,
and
right?
started on brewing.
I mean,
brewed
it's
myself
almost a
strength 2
half
potions,
of
speed
the
2
whole.
potions, and made a couple
I mean,
of
it is
golden
half of
apples.
one.
So on day
Almost half of
43, I
100.
set out to go
Yep,
look for a
43 to 50.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. I found a Stegosaurus on the way, and even a
And
pterodactyl.
what?
After
That's not a
lot more
Stegosaurus.
traveling,
That's
I stumbled upon a biome with some really large
Brachiosaurus.
trees. Then I heard what sounded like a deep growl. I couldn't see what it was at first, but when I got closer, it was clearly a T-Rex.
Oh,
So
I
I
can
drank
do
my
a T-Rex
potion of
roar.
speed and strength, and went to attack the smaller T-Rex first. I decided to try and get behind the T-Rex.
I don't
and
like
after
when
a
I
few
do that
hits with
because
my
I have to cough.
adamantine saber, the first T-Rex fell. I looked over at the second T-Rex, and this one was a lot larger. I still
Oh, that
decided
one's
to go
gonna
straight in for him.
give you a
Took
run for
pretty
your
big
money.
hit. After attacking
Definitely
him from
gonna
behind
give
a few
you a run
times,
for your
I
money,
started
man.
to get pretty low, so I backed up and ate a golden apple. I needed to use the trees
Oh,
to my
that's where
advantage
your
as
apples
best as
are for.
possible. So from behind the
To
tree, I
make
landed a
yourself
few
notch
hits,
apples.
but at the same time, the T-Rex did a lot of damage, so I backed up to eat another golden
Then you-
apple.
are
I
you
went in
even
to try
doing
and finish
damage?
him off, and after one more
Yeah,
hit,
critical.
I defeated the giant T-Rex. Afterwards, I went for the smaller T-Rex. Took that one out pretty easily. This adamantine saber served me really well. So after collecting the T-Rex's skull, I spent the next 3 days traveling back to my base. Once I returned back to base, I decided I want to make a little display case for this T-Rex skull, which I thought turned out pretty good. From days 55 to 58, I went back out to explore, and ended up finding a dinosaur egg. I'm pretty sure it belonged to this dinosaur. After watching it for a bit, the egg started to shake, and when I looked away for a second, the egg
shaking the
hatched.
camera?
It looked just like the other dinosaur. I tried feeding it some seeds to see if I could tame it, but I ended up just eating eating all my seeds. Probably should have expected that from my dinosaur. So I continued exploring and found myself a desert temple, which had some nice goodies inside, including an enchanted book, golden apples, and some emeralds. I then found myself a desert village and decided to borrow all their crops. After a little more exploring, I ran into some dodo birds. It looked like one of them had laid an egg. So I right-clicked the egg, and out came a baby dodo bird. I needed a way to lead this to base, so I found a villager tent, stole the lead from the horse, and led my baby dodo bird all the way back to my cave base. Make sure to leave a comment of what you think we should name this little guy. I then decided it was time to commemorate Tim Bob the cat, so I made a little memorial for him. From days 59 to 63, I decided to explore the alpine biomes. I ended up running into a huge herd of mammoths, and they started to attack me for some reason. The mammoths do a decent amount of damage and knock you back pretty far, but with my shield and saber, I was able to handle them pretty easily. Once I got past the herd of mammoths, I looked up and saw what looked to be some floating blocks. I went to take a closer look, and it looked like some sort of abandoned base. I wonder what the heck happened here. There were farms, but there was no chests or anything else. So I harvested some of the crops and continued journeying for the next 3 days. I ended up finding a village and found some strange building I've never seen in a village before. It looked like some sort of laboratory. There were all sorts of DNA machines and a mushroom down the back. There was a chest behind the counter with a ton of test tubes and syringes. I then found a strange item called the Scarab Gem. Took it out and got an achievement for it. I wasn't sure what it was used for first, but after some research, turns out you can use this to tame dinosaurs. I then stole some of the books from the village.
That is winning the lottery.
My journey. I ended up seeing a dinosaur known as an Allosaurus, basically a mini T-Rex. So I drank my potions and decided to take it on. I began the fight by attacking him and bringing him over to the water. I knew I wouldn't be able to outrun this dinosaur on land, so I knew I needed some sort of terrain advantage. Using the water to my advantage, I got him into a weakened state and used the Scarab Gem to tame it, and I now have my very own
that's how you do it. You do it like Pokemon. Oh, it's like Pokemon. You only have to get it down low and then you have to catch it.
Crafted myself a skull stick and used the skull stick to command my Allosaurus to follow me. I then waited for it to be night and killed a few spiders so I could make myself a whip. I could then use my whip to ride my Allosaurus like it was a horse, except it was a lot faster than a horse.
Oh, it's like a horse racing event. Why do they even use whips in horse racing? I don't like that. They just whip the horse and it looks very painful. It sounds very painful. At least we don't hear the sound effects in this. They make me very painful.
It's built into the side of a Mesa biome hill. It seemed like a pretty normal base, but nobody was home. I wasn't sure who the base belonged to. I ended up coming up with a plan and left a sign asking if they could meet me at a set of coordinates that led to the plane crash site. I ended up returning back to my base first so I could prepare myself for meeting up with this person. I ended up tying up my Allosaurus and leaving him at my base as I didn't want him to attack whoever I was meeting up with. So I began my journey back to the plane crash site. On the way there, I ended up fighting some rhinoceros. They didn't do too much damage, but when they hit you, they knocked you back really far. After defeating the rhinoceros and traveling for a few more days, I finally made it to the plane crash site. I pillared up to get on top of the plane and waited for someone to arrive. Whoa, is that? Painful, is that you?
Wait, what?
10-4, glad to see you're still alive for us.
It's
painful.
painful.
Control and crash landed. Did you land safely? No, my engine cut off too. I wonder if there was some sort of energy barrier that cut off our power. I'm not sure, but this plane must be a
You mean like an EMP?
crash landed. I hope they're both still alive. Wait, what is that noise?
Helicopter.
What the heck? That's the mad scientist. Follow him quick. And so the chase began. What was the mad scientist up to? Is this just a coincidence?
I think that's the.
We followed
Is that the person who killed his base?
Next
I think
4
so.
days, we ended up finding an entrance to a suspicious cavern.
Ooh,
Was this an entrance to the mad scientist's lair? We had nothing to lose, and we needed to find Ace and Rasher. So we entered this eerie-looking cave.
What if I think Ace and Rasher is already dead.
It was completely pitch black.
I'm taking a good guess that they're dead.
This cave went on for a while and had many twists and turns. So for the next 2 days, we made our way through the cavern. On day 87, it looked like we had reached the end point of the cavern. We also heard some strange dinosaur noises. And when we entered the room, we found Ace and Rasher. There were even velociraptors in the other
surprised that they're
cells.
still
We
alive.
both let out Ace and Rasher so they could escape and so that we could investigate the room. Where's the mad scientist? Whoa, watch out, it's a trap! We were blocked into the room, and the velociraptors were let out. We quickly took out the velociraptors, and once we took out both velociraptors, we knew we needed to get out of the room. So we started working on breaking our way out, and all of a sudden we were both poisoned. We looked behind us, and the mad scientist was there. This was it. This was
He's
the final
savage.
battle.
He
If we didn't
literally
defeat the mad
poisoned you, and now
scientist
hitting
here,
you with
Ace
some
and Rasher
kind
would
of
be left for dead.
thing.
We started to attack the mad scientist, who for some reason had absolutely no armor. After countless hits, he still wasn't taking much damage. He must have been using some special kinds of potions. Luckily, we brought some of our
he
potions,
some kind of super soldier or something? Or is he Cap?
Was really annoying, though, and I needed
Is
to
he
eat food as much
hydration
as I
or
could.
something?
The mad scientist was even using instant damage potions. We did not want to get hit by too many of those. I went in for another hit, took a ton of damage, getting down to 1 heart. Luckily, Painful splashed me with some instant health, and I went in to get another hit. I then disengaged to drink my strength and speed potions. After I drank my potions, Painful had backed him into a corner. We both double-teamed the scientist and pushed him into the lava, and watched as the mad scientist burned in the lava.
Yeah,
we
third party.
We had finally gotten rid of the mad scientist.
At
We
day
noticed that there was
87.
some icy stone in the wall, and we broke down the icy stone and realized this must have been where he was hiding. There was all sorts of brewing stands, computers. That could have been how he shut off the power of our helicopters. Afterwards, we broke down the gravel, meeting back up with Ace and Rasher. Luckily, they were okay. We also ended up finding the mad scientist's secret escape route. First, it just seemed like a normal cave, but we ended up finding an extremely long tunnel. So we followed this pathway for 7 days. This pathway was extremely long.
7 days?
We finally reached the end of the secret passageway with barely any food to spare. So we climbed the
7
ladder, and
days?
once we
A
reached the
secret
surface, we
passage
looked
goes on
behind
for
us and saw his
7
helicopter
days?
perched on top of a building. It makes sense that he'd want to hide his helicopter far away from his actual base. So we all loaded up into the helicopter.
Oh, he does
Painful as the
yoink his
pilot. We're gonna need to
helicopter.
restock on food and supplies. So after about 3 days of traveling by helicopter, we made it back to Painful's base. So we gave Ace and Rasher full iron armor and replenished our food. So on day 100, we all got back in the helicopter and made our way back to the battleship. And Painful stuck the landing. Also,
Ooh.
once we got out, me and Painful
Clean.
noticed that Ace had fell asleep in the back. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to watch Painful's video as well. We each had different objectives, which made our videos a lot different from each other. Make sure to show his video some love, and thanks so much for watching. Take care, everyone.
I go to
Stop! Opera GX! I feel like a year now.
Really
it has a
beautify.
ton of really useful integrations like WhatsApp. It's got Discord.
It's hilarious that I just cut him up like, okay, bye. Well, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!